My name is Jonathan Smith, and I teach in the African American Studies Department, and I've been at St. Louis University since the fall of 2002. And since I've been here, I started in the American Studies Department, and about 4 years ago, moved over full-time to the African American Studies Department. What the mission where the mission really resonates for me as a Black Baptist is in the idea that the work that I do here, it should be work for others and with others. And for me, that's a thing that I carry everywhere I go. I had a little bit of trepidation when I first at the moment that I accepted the job at SLU, because I'd never attended or worked in a religious institution, and I wasn't sure what a Jesuit Catholic institution would mean for a Black Baptist like me, and I didn't know how all of that would fit together. But one of the things that I discovered that I absolutely love about being at SLU in relationship to the mission and the kind of seamlessness is the fact that in classrooms, outside of classrooms, in hallways and receptions, everything can be talked about. So if we're dealing with something, if I'm dealing with an issue in class about race and culture, and it impacts or intersects or impinges on someone's religious views, we actually have the opportunity to talk about it, and students feel comfortable talking about it and talking about how all those pieces of their lives fit together. So in my classroom on a weekly basis, some of my best moments in the classroom are those when students feel as though they have the opportunity and the right and the space to be themselves, and whatever that means. In all of this, that is a moment when the mission of this institution, the mission of my life, all of that stuff like came together for me with an odd kind of clarity, because I'd heard it already described as OccupySLU, and it's like one of the first things I did was to go to the website, look at our mission statement, and look at these ideas of social transformation, of social justice, of making the world a better place for others, so all those things. And there were two words that just echoed and resonated in my head for the entire week, and I repeated them to everybody I could that entire week, and those two words were refuge and sanctuary. And I thought that there were no two better words to describe what our mission should be for that week. I told protesters I talked to, I said, if you are talking with faculty, students, administrators here, go to our mission page and tell them, now you have to live up to this mission and talk about refuge and sanctuary. When I talk to my students, when I talk to my colleagues, administrators, everybody I talked to that week at every level, no matter what side of the protest or conversation they were on, I thought sanctuary and refuge is a thing that would really have to be concerned with this week, because that, I think, within the framework of this moment in St. Louis, one of the things that had been fully absent from every kind of encounter was sanctuary. It's like it had begun to seem as though there were no safe spaces for most people in St. Louis. It's like no matter how you talked about it, right? And so for me, the side that first affects me, the side that on which I entered a conversation in terms of thinking about young Black men and their mortality rates, their encounters with police, I thought, these guys have no refuge or sanctuary. It's like there's just no place. There's so few places that these young guys can just stand and breathe without their presence being questioned.